So welcome to Challenge the Road. I want to have a good talk with you today about cars, investment cars. There's something I'd done a while ago, 10 years ago. I actually purchased the Subaru World Rally car, but also purchased a flat in Tunbridge Wells. I'm going to do a video on that, and I'm going to do a video around how much money and what was the gain on the Subaru against the flat, so you can get an idea of returns. And where this video's come from is I get a lot of messages from people, and they're saying to me, Richard, people are coming back to cars because Labour are in. There's going to be more tax on second homes. There's going to be more, tax on buy-to-lets. They're taxing us out of everything. In fairness, they were a few years ago, but is it going to get worse? And is that going to lead to more people coming into the car market? I thought what I'd do is I'll try and break this up. In the first section, I'm just going to talk about the market, some of the cars I've got here, where I feel it might go, but also I want your feedback. I want you to go, Richard, have you thought of this? Have you looked at this? Because we're in a world where it's going to change. Now, when we first had the cars, in my era, we had manual cars. We didn't have a huge amount of technology. We went for a drive, and that was our sort of solace. We went out, we had our CDs, and we'd go for a drive. And we were dedicated to the task of driving, and that has changed a lot now. And I think because of the technology in the world we're in, we're now having to put systems in because we're losing our ability to obviously concentrate on your driving. And I'll give you an example. I was thinking today, I was out driving, and I thought I'd be thinking in a manual car, I may just drop it down, I may heel and toe, but I was really concentrating on my driving. Now we're in a world where the other day I was with my daughter and she said, Dad, look, that guy's on his phone and he hasn't got his hands on the steering wheel, and it was a Tesla, and I know other cars can do self-driving, but I'm just trying to say that the world is changing, that it's making us, I'm going to say lazy, but I'm going to say that everything's trying to be put in front of us as if we can't actually do anything ourselves. And because you've got mobile phones, you've got all this tech now, people's concentration levels are a lot lower. I do feel that, Apple CarPlay, things like that. You've got WhatsApps coming in, different ways of communicating that you didn't used to have. Another example would be, in the old days, you used to say, I'll meet you 7 o'clock. Okay, 7 o'clock, see you tomorrow. That's it, with no phones. You meet them at 7 o'clock. Nowadays, you could get a message at 6 saying, there's some traffic lights on your way, might be a bit busy, why don't you go another way? Or, I tell you what, it might be 7:30, I'm running a bit late. Because in the old days, I don't remember people being massively late, or sometimes, they maybe didn't turn up at all because you didn't have a phone. But generally, everyone sort of turned up on time, that was it. There wasn't like this anxiety around what's going on because of social media and things. You might see, on that pub now, they haven't got this open, or this isn't here, why don't we go here? There was no changing, it was there 7 o'clock. So the world's just changing. And I'll talk about that because I'm talking about demographics now. So you've got to look at, if you wanted to collect or have an older Ferrari, say, let's just say a 250 GTO, the most expensive car in the world. That doesn't overly excite me, that car. I know its history and I know everything about it, but a McLaren P1 or something from my era, a Subaru 22B, them things excite me because they were the cars of my era. And that is why we're seeing the cars at different eras and younger cars now starting to make the money that they do. The demographic is also that a lot of people try and obviously make more money as they get older. And I don't know if that's changing a bit. You're seeing, I've been in different dealerships, there's a lot of Bitcoin money, young people earning huge amounts of money through different coins and currencies, and then buying their first Lamborghinis. And they are buying newer Lamborghinis. I don't see them buying Countach. Murcielago is probably the main one at the moment that's seeing a huge rise because that's a car that's 2010, so it's not that long ago. So if you're having that as a poster car, you may be 25, you was only sort of 10 at the time, and that was your car. So you've got to be quite careful on what you pick. The other big thing is, we've had so many changes over time, haven't we? I remember driving M6 V10s. Oh, no, you don't want big engine cars. Oof, got to come away from it. Okay, so this is the government, this is taxing. Okay, so it gets lower the engine down. V10 was like the worst. Fantastic car, by the way. I mean, it's a mega car, one of the best cars I've driven. So then we went lower, then we remember we were going, everyone's going to go diesel. Right, go diesel. Okay, yeah, everyone's diesel. And to tell the truth, we had fantastic diesel cars. Very economical, loads of torque in a diesel car. Now it's like, get rid of diesel, we're going to go EV. So everything we've done, we're sort of unraveling. We were trying to say that diesel was dirty and all these things. So what I do now, I'm going to just talk about the EV and where we're going in 2030. So this is where we've got to really think about what's going on. So you can see there's lots of different cars in here. Rally cars, road cars, hypercars, supercars. And we've got to think, well, what's going to happen? Are these, I got a message the other week just saying, Richard, a petrol car is going to go to zero. I really don't know. They're going to move that date back to 2030, but there's a lot of things in our favour. People are not buying EVs at the moment, or I'm not going to say they're not buying. The numbers are right down. People are buying second-hand EVs because they're not silly. They can watch my channel, they can watch lots of people's channels and see that, you know, if you bought a £140,000 Porsche Taycan, it's going to be worth 70, not even in a year. So that's not good business. But you've got to think, well, what is good business? What are good cars here? So we see the Focus RS over there. That's just sold for a world record price. Not that car, it's very low mileage, accepted, but it's a very good car. It still seems to be appreciating. 2002 model, so that's an era again that's on the rise. The 2000s now are on the rise with people. My feeling, and the reason I got this Clubhouse was, I feel that some of these cars will be in collections like this, and we need to be creating more of these type of things where, you know, we take them to the events we've been doing, people can see them. We use them now and then, but rarely. Or we take them to specialised tracks and track days, which I feel will be, you know, a massive part of the future. Also, sim racing is going to probably help. I think that it's a fantastic tool for learning to track drive, improving your driving before you go there, giving you confidence. And then where do you go? Do you look at just getting track cars and having an EV and taking it to track, but also to cars and coffee? This is why my mind's it's you know, boiling over at the moment, thinking, you know, what are we doing? Where are we going? What have I got cars here that I probably shouldn't have, that are going to depreciate a lot? And in fairness, I have sold quite a lot of my modern things like Lamborghini STO, these type of cars. Do the older cars increase because they haven't got all the systems? Is that, you know, if you look at now, we're, you know, basically GPS driven, you know, any type of speed lit is boom, boom, boom. You've got pulling on the steering, which I still don't really like. I've got that on the X5. I find it not just distracting, I find it dangerous. So will these cars go up because people want to be free? You know, I think that is a big thing. I mean, sometimes I take the cars out and I don't take my phone. And I think, well, why do I need a phone when I didn't have a phone when I was younger and I was perfectly fine? Bit anxious at first, I thought I haven't got a phone. But do we, you know, where do we stop with that? I mean, you know, if I go out, I'm sure someone else has got a phone to ring someone if I had a problem, you know. So we've got to think about, you know, lots of different things. And it wasn't a conclusion today. It was just to say, this is what I'm going through in my mind. So I think the rally cars are a good bet. I think some of the road cars, you could have a problem. Obviously, I'm invested in the P1, but it's a hybrid. And with a hybrid, I know I can at any time have 11, 12 miles of EV through a village or a town. I know it's zero emissions in the US, the P1. So that was why I went down that route. E-fuels, you know, if they're going to put that at garden centres, is that brilliant for me? Yes, I don't mind paying a bit more for the fuel if it's, you know, e-fuel and I can run it and, It's good for the environment, but I've still got my car. I do like cars that have got sound. I know sometimes, like with the EVs, I like it because there isn't any sound when I'm on a phone call and different things, but you know, the Aston V12 is still a fantastic engine, and the Porsche GT3, you know, it's pretty amazing. So I think I'm in a good position with the cars, and I'm going to stick with them. And there's some huge, you know, increases I've seen. And the reason the capital gains video with the car and the flat I haven't done is it's just taken me a bit more time to work it out. I didn't want to just rush it. I wanted to say, well, this is what I purchased the flat for. This is what I've earned in rent and the appreciation in value. This was the car. And I know it's a bit of a one-off car because it's a rally car, but at the end of the day, they were both bought 10 years ago. It'd be interesting to see that. And if this capital gains tax is going to rise, then, you know, potentially there could be problems there on the housing front. So, yeah, it's tricky. And going forward, I see that, you know, the youth coming through might not drive a car. They might not desire a car. You know, looking at youngsters today, are they desiring a car with a manual gearbox and learning to drive, or are they just seeing it as another place to use an iPad? That's what I think. So I think it's going to be a problem. So then I have to think, well, if younger people aren't going to drive, are they going to want these cars? And that is a big problem. And then I have to think, well, maybe I just have cars that could be in a museum or like an art piece. So it's tricky, isn't it? It's tricky. That's the whole idea of the video. If it was easy, everyone would make them like this, wouldn't they? So yeah, they're my thoughts. I don't know. I mean, all you can do is the best you can, because the environment around you is always going to be changing, but I feel like we're in a good position. I hope you enjoy these videos. I'm going to be doing a lot more. I've actually got a Hyundai Iconic 5 coming in, Ioniq 5 is it, coming in. I'm looking forward to that. It's an electric car, 650 horsepower. Again, I think it's too powerful, but we'll see. I'm going to bring that in, do a review on that. And I was looking at them thinking, is that, you know, a nice car to have, EV? But I don't know. It's just the range anxiety. I've done lots of videos on EVs. So yeah, it is tricky. It is tricky. I mean, what happens if the EVs really does fall off a cliff and then everyone goes back to petrol? Do second-hand prices increase there? That's how complicated it is. It's not easy, but please like, share, subscribe. I hope you enjoy these videos. Obviously, it's a much better setup for me here. I'm looking forward to doing more and more, especially this week. We have the car competition with the V12 finishing Friday, so you'll see more videos on that. What a car that is, in the green, manual V12. You've seen the Jeremy Clarkson videos in the past. Is it the last of the generation? Maybe. We'll see. So please like, share, subscribe. Hope you enjoy these videos, and I'll see you again soon.